Happy Monday, everybody. Jason Russell, branch manager, Caliber Home Loans. And I wanted to share today a little snippet that I saw from Suze Orman. I've seen a couple of you guys share this on Facebook, and I just wanted to kind of give my take on it because I think she's really wrong. I used to like watching her show where she would just deny people to be able to, like, I want to buy a coat. Nope, can't buy a coat. Sorry, don't have no money for that. So suffice to say, she posted this, and I'll let you read it, but I'll read it as well. It says, I would absolutely wait until September, October, November of this year before I even consider buying a home. One concern is property values. Many people will have to make up their missed mortgage payments around the time federal unemployment is scheduled to stop on July 31st. This puts them in a difficult financial position, especially if they're out of work. It's not impossible that your neighbors might have to foreclose on their home. Here's the problem. Let's say you paid $300,000 for a home today, and your next door neighbor is out of work due to the coronavirus and can't afford to make mortgage payments. So they foreclose on their home. That house goes for $150,000. Do you know what this just did to your property value that you just bought? Your property is now worth $150,000. Because when someone goes to check the latest comp, they're going to see, oh, well, the house next door sold for $150,000. The house down the block, just like yours, sold for $150,000. There goes the price of real estate. And that's exactly what happened in 2007 and 2008. I can't express how wrong Suze Orman is about this. Whatever her area of expertise is, real estate is very clearly not it. So there's a couple of things that I want to talk about. In terms of waiting, I would say that if you want to wait until September, October, or November, that's a potential reason, that's a reasonable stance to take. Homes could come up for sale in September, October, November due to what she talked about. It's the rest of it that is so wrong. So a couple of things. Number one, this analogy of, let's say you pay $300,000 and then the home forecloses, it's going to sell for $150,000. First of all, this does not happen anymore. Banks used to, in 2008, 2009, 2010, banks dumped properties like this because they were not in a position to just hold on to a bunch of properties, especially given the amount that became available. They didn't sell them for half. They typically sold them for about 65 cents on the dollar. So, you know, as far as that goes, this even in that scenario would be 195,000, not 150. But let's just get that out of the way. Number one. Number two, why would anyone foreclose due to the coronavirus? Number one, there's a very high likelihood that Congress will pass an extension that makes it nearly impossible for banks to foreclose due to coronavirus issues, and will solve a lot of these problems that in terms of having them come due, payments coming due at once. Depending on your loan type, there's already a ton of options out there that allow for a secretary's lien, which is basically saying, okay, you didn't make these last 5 months worth of payments. You don't have to pay us right now because you can't, but we'll tack it on to the back of the transaction, and you know you'll have to pay that at the end of your 30 years. That's already an option for a lot of people right there. So if people have to take that option, they'll go that option before they let their house go. That's number one. Number two, why would someone foreclose? Over 95% of Americans right now have over 10% equity in their property. So let's say it costs 5% to pay, both realtors to sell your home. Then you've got to chip in a little bit for closing costs here and there to the buyers. So anybody who has at least 10% equity, why would they foreclose? Why wouldn't they just sell it at full price, pay off their loan, cash out whatever's left over, and walk away with money? If they're that hard off for money because of the coronavirus, they're not going to let this home that has just continued to increase significantly over the past decade just, oh, well, I'm just going to let it go. It's not going to happen. They're going to sell it, and they're going to sell it for regular price. So that would be number two. And the reason they're going to be able to do that, and this is this other part that I have an issue with, that I take issue with, was this is exactly what happened in 2007, 2008. It absolutely is not what happened in 2007 and 2008. Yes, there were a lot of foreclosures in 2007 and 2008, but those foreclosures happened because people were upside down. The housing market blew up. And a large part of that implosion, if you will, was due to the fact of very simple economics of supply and demand. There was way more supply available, homes to buy, than there was demand for someone to buy them. So now their interest rates are at all-time lows, affordability is right up there, and we have an inventory shortage in California. So there is not an issue of people being upside down in their homes and are going to be forced to lose it. If someone wants to sell their house, or if they can't afford to make the payments, they are just going to sell it and they're going to move on, and you're not going to get a discount. Okay? The only benefit in this idea of waiting till September, October, November is you're betting not that these people are going to foreclose, but that they are going to sell their home. And then going back to, again, supply and demand, now you've got more supply available than you do right now, and therefore you can drive a harder bargain. But the problem is, ultimately, there's still not enough. Even if a lot of these people right now, there's suggesting that, as stats say, somewhere around 8% of all mortgages are currently in forbearance. Even if that full 8%, if all of them sold their house and all of them did it in September, October, November, there probably still wouldn't be enough homes available to meet the current demand for the people who do want to buy one. So please, please, please do not wait for homes to be 150,000. I promise you that is not going to happen. It is not going to happen. So if you're on the fence, if you have questions, if you want to talk about your personal situation, let me know. I'm certainly happy to answer any questions. Hope you guys have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks.